right, so this is a poetry competition. Obviously, we have 4 teams that are competing. We have 5 judges who I will introduce in just a second. They will judge each performance on a scale of 1 to 10. And obviously, whatever team comes away with the highest score at the end wins. We got 5 judges, so the highest score and the lowest score are dropped. And then the score that individual or the team will get is based on the cumulative amount of the 3 remaining scores. There's a 3-minute time limit. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you're still good. There's a 30-second grace period. After 3 minutes and 30 seconds, time penalties start accruing. So make sure that you're very mindful of that. Just by way of housekeeping, as I announce each team, I will also say who's on deck, right? The next team that's going to be performing. So if I say you're on deck, you can go right out those doors, make a hard right, and then you'll be backstage so that you can just enter from stage, whatever that is, left, right, but come from that way. And so that'll cut down on time, rather than you walking all through the audience and so forth and so on, all right? So I will go ahead and introduce the judges. I want to thank them for being here tonight. I mean, it's a very difficult job. They're sitting back there. So I'm going to start off with my good friend who is a spoken word artist, a hip hop artist. She's very prolific, very talented. Please put your hands together for Miss Oprah Brown. Wave to the nice people, Oprah. Oprah's right. We have a very talented hip-hop artist also. He's also an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Clever Threads, and some of his t-shirts are actually on sale in the lobby. Please put your hands together for Mr. Clark Roosevelt. Got a lot of hip-hop artists in the building tonight, but a lot of the Ltab model really operate with the philosophy that hip-hop and spoken word are kindred spirits, right? So we're very glad that these talented people are with us tonight. But he's a hip-hop artist. I've been knowing him since he was a teenager. Saw him perform in the Blue Room. He's just been doing amazing things ever since. Put your hands together for King Kai. Finally, we've got one of Kansas City's finest poets. She's also a playwright. She gets tired of me saying this, but she was one of the few poets from Kansas, well, the only poet from Kansas City to make it on Def Poetry Jam. She did 3 appearances. She's just an incredible force of nature. My good friend, Miss Dana Gilmore. Please put your hands together. All right, so judges, as I said, you score each performance on a scale of 1 to 10. Poetry is very subjective. Who did I forget? My man Reach? I'm so very sorry. I took him for granted, and that's my bad, because he agreed to come tonight when one of our judges didn't show, and so I'm forever grateful. He put on a phenomenal lyric workshop for hip-hop artists as we are moving towards having an MC Olympics that is part of this competition. Any MCs in the building, keep your ears open. I'll be communicating through the Ltab KC face page, Twitter, through the email thread that we've been sending out to all the teachers to let them know when we reschedule the MC Olympics. But I'm a huge fan of his, and he does a lot also in terms of using art as a way to uplift the community. My bad for overlooking him. Please put your hands together for Stacy Smith, also known as Reach. All right, so judges. Poetry is very subjective, but we want you to be as objective as possible. Score each performance from a scale of 1 to 10. Use decimal points to help us avoid a tie. And there's gonna be a lot of yelling. I mean, we want everybody to be excited. We want this to be, yeah, exactly. We want this thing to be a high energy thing, but do not let the yelling and the applause in the audience sway you, right? So audience, your job is to do whatever you can to sway the judges, all right? Scream, clap, whatever it help your team win. All right, so one thing we do want people to understand is that while this is a competition and these students have worked very hard, it's really not about the competition. It's really about building community. This room is filled with people who probably would have never met had it not been for the Louder Than a Bomb Youth Poetry Festival. These young people are making friends with people from all different walks of life. And the poetry that they share really speaks to issues that they're confronting, whether it's on a personal level or issues that we're all confronting socially. And there's something inherent in spoken word that when you're giving when you're putting your creative energy out in that way, you end up wanting to be responsible to your respective communities. And so we've seen these young people just do some amazing things, and that's what it's about. So to remind us of that, we just say from time to time that the points are not the point. All right, yeah. All right, the point is poetry, absolutely. If the judges give a score that you don't like, what do you say to the judges? Listen to the poem. You can also boo them. We would not want you to throw anything at them, but you can look at them really mean, all right? So that if they give a score that you don't like, that's a way to kind of sway them. So, other thing is, we want everybody to know that this is the hottest place to be tonight. We want everybody to know that we are so excited about what's happening. We want to keep this thing going. This is a movement. So one way to do that is to send out tweets, and it's hashtag LTabKC or at LTabKC. Light up the Twitterverse if you guys have Twitter accounts. We want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and that we are having a great time here tonight. All right. So before I announce the order and we get things started, we really need the blessings of the poetry gods, right? We need to offer them a sacrifice. We also need to help the judges get calibrated, get them warmed up. So the person who has so graciously agreed to be our sacrificial poet tonight is Ogechi Afadu, who is with the KC Poetry team. So please put your hands together for Ogechi Afadu.
KC Poetry! KC Poetry! KC Poetry!
Now there's a lot of bad bitches in the building. Amen. What did you call me? Who are you calling a bitch? Who gave you the audacity to believe that those two words are an acceptable form of a compliment? Because I do not agree. This term has invaded our vocabularies. This term has disrupted our male to female icebreaker decorum. This term, through the rhythms and rhymes of rap songs, hinders young adults' vernacular and degrades our society that are the ingest and of daily ignorances. This term lacks the fundamentals of decency to be considered okay. They say, oh yeah, she a bad bitch. Hey, there go pretty little bitch. She ain't you light skinned bitch. What are you calling me? Who are you calling a bitch? I am not your dog that you can whistle to and expect me to feel flattered because you copped the new Jordans. I am not your canine to ridicule your misogynistic metaphors for my sex appeal. I am not a pet. I am not a bitch. Switch. Which Google definition of bitch they believe gave my face an ugly switch. Noun 1, a female dog, hound or otter. Noun 2, subheading informal derogatory, a spiteful woman. Noun 3, subheading black slang, a woman. Period. This isn't pretend for poetry. Black people have proven to Google that our definition of bitch is woman. Bitch equates woman. Oh Lord, where's my mentor? I'm losing my temper. Don't you dare attempt to dehumanize us with a phrase that belittles our gender. Why are we expected to make peace with the mediocrity of ignorant thug wannabes? I have within me an unassailable monumental dignity for my queens. Women oppress societal standing systematically suppresses us sisters. I suspect your manly presumptions and requests it be sentenced to death or at least life without the possibility of parole, solitary confinement. But wait, your honor, our younger brothers and sisters are confused on how they should view themselves as women, because when the female speaks that her type of bitch is the baddest and her juicy's the fattest, she'll repeat what she's been told, and you jig along till you realize that that bad bitch is 11 to 16 years old. Though we, Generation Y, less the potential the Jetsons live in the sky, permanently ground ourselves by drowning in the shallowness of puddles, such as give a bad bitch a proper due, and applying them to our realities instead of leaving them in the song where they should cling to. Girl, what did you call you? Why are you calling yourself a bitch when you know where you come from, when you know your self-worth? We aren't the meaning of a bitch, nor are we slut, thought, hoe, whore, any other defamatory appellation for our appearances. We should be sick of the incoherences, the interference of women's perseverance, the disappearance of chivalry, and apparent lack of dignity. I don't see any bad bitches in this building. I perceive gracious women who need to attain the honor immediately. Proverbs 11:16. Amen.
That's that heat. That's how you kick it off. All right, so we got a couple of things that we do while we're waiting for the judges to figure out the scores. One of them is gonna be, we got DJ Scheme in the building. He's just playing the hottest cuts. So what was the name of the jam he was just playing? Somebody help me out. Okay, yeah, that was the old head in the building. You young folks, that's LL Cool J. Mama said knock you out. All right. That's a great attitude song. The other thing I'll be doing is giving you a choice, like an either or, you know what I'm saying? And you just yell for whichever one you like the best. So let's go with superheroes. Who's the coldest, Iron Man or Batman? Iron Man? No Batman? No Batman? All right. So you guys get it, right? So we gotta keep this thing moving. And we've got our bout manager. Well, no, we don't. Let me give you another one. This is one I asked last week and I was really surprised. So, Oreos or Chips Ahoy? Oreo? No Chips Ahoy? I see a couple of Chips Ahoy fans back there. Awesome. I'm with you. Chips Ahoy milk. Put them joints in the microwave sometimes. You know what I mean? All right. So do we have scores yet? Don't think too hard, judges. Go with your gut. Keep it moving. 1 to 10.
All right.
All right.
We're going to start with a 7.2.
Woo!
And then an 8.5. And then a 9.1.
All right.
And another 9.1.
All right.
And a 9.6.
Woo! I don't know. We started off rough. Woo! Okay. So here is the order of performance for the first round. We're going to start off with Paseo, then Lawrence Free State, then Shawnee Mission South, and then Raytown. All right. You want to keep the energy level up? We're about to kick this thing off, so let's kick it off right. Put your hands together for the poet from Paseo, Lawrence Free State. You are on deck.
We love you, poet. We don't never stop loving you, poet.
Chris Cow, aka the American Sniper. I wonder how it would feel to kill someone. Boom! Now I know, no big deal. Another body drops, another man would be murdered, another father who couldn't go home to his wife or daughter slaughtered. Boom! Somebody asked me, what was my favorite distance? I said, the closer the better. Tired of holding shovels, burying brothers beneath barricades of sand, who were fighting to protect their land. Cause out here, it's about danger. You can't find landmines and snipers. Boom! They had signs that read baby killers and murderers, protesting us, the troops who were going over to fight. You have to understand that over here, this is life. When a young boy is caught in the line of sight, a pipe bomb is in his rights, or when it is him, or 5 soldiers, the definition of wrong and right becomes skewed. Boom! Boom! They were protesting the wrong people. I never voted in war. I never voted to go to war. I never signed up. I signed up to protect this country, and that's what I believe I was doing. So if this country goes to ruin, I will shoot, and I will keep shooting, even if I don't know what for. They say I saved 160, but I believe I killed more. They say I saved hundreds, but it's not about the ones you saved. You remember, it's not about the medals you earned, because the shine reminds me of gun, fire. You have to understand that my dad was a deacon and my mother taught Sunday school, so I'm willing to meet my creator to answer every shot I took for every bastard child I created, every wife I widowed. This is war at the door where they fit you for your coffin check mark, yes. The organ donor, so your kids can have the heart to be a part of future wars. My wife hasn't seen me in months. To her, I'm already dead. A ghost in the night. Another reason for me to shoot, to kill, to fight. Boom! 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 After a while, we start joking about all the dead bodies. What do you call a man with a bullet in his head? Dead. Good one. But you have to understand this is more than war and its policies. A bunch of game players sitting around congratulating each other in war. While real lives get screwed up. People ask me all the time, how many people have you killed? Do! And my response is, does the answer make me more or less than a man? Thank you.
Anybody know anything about this cut that's playing right now? Anybody know the name of that, young people? Anybody? You like the beat though? Is the beat rocking? It's nobody? Scream it out, scream it out. Your mind is playing tricks on you? Is that what you said? No. It's actually my mind is playing tricks on me. Ghetto boys, old school hip hop. You guys are like MCs or whatever. You gotta get on it. You gotta study this history, man. All right. So, you guys watch Empire? All right. So who do you want to take over, Jamal or Hakeem? Jamal? Jamal? Somebody said Cookie. All right. Do we have scores yet?
We do. We have an 8.5.
Alright.
And an 8.7. And an 8.7. And an 8.8. And a 9.9.
Alright. Man, so that, you know what that tells me, audience? You guys are not doing your work. You gotta give them judges the crazy mean glare. You gotta tell them, you gotta boo, you gotta get them hyped up. Alright? They need more pressure. They are over there straight tripping. All right. So, let's have, if I can get this microphone right. All right. Let's have a big round of applause for the poet from Lawrence Free State. Shawnee Mission South, you are on deck.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name is Lauren and I'm from Lawrence Free State. Before I start, I just want to say that tonight isn't about who gets to go to Brave New Voices. For me, tonight is about seeing people say what they needed to say. Maybe they mess up. Maybe they mess up, maybe they go over time, but they wrote what they needed to write. This is what I needed to write. This is about the day my mother told me she was hungry. Because we ran out of food stamps. I looked away. Mothers aren't supposed to be hungry. She looks so fragile sometimes. And I've seen her cry. How do you hold a mother like a bird? How do you hug a mother so hard her stomach doesn't growl? I pushed my phone away and I went upstairs, but I could still hear her shuffling the bills around. Should we pay the water bill or the gas? We only had enough for one. This is about crooked teeth, rotten, cracked. My mom's teeth grew without enamel, and as soon as they had grown, they grew apart. Some are chipped and missing, but we couldn't straighten them out no matter how many times we said, I love you before bed. She told me she tries not to open her mouth around my friends. It's embarrassing, and I'd have to agree. It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing not that we can't afford her a new mouth, but that I and anyone else judges her intelligence based on teeth, made to bite, made to chew you up. Who cares what they look like as long as they're spattered with poetry and blood from the fight? This is about how I wish my mother would rip up my father, nails and teeth and blood and fight and spit him out. This is about moms without dads. Dad's gone missing, dad's gone out, dad's gone drinking, dad's gone crazy. He hit mom before I knew how to dial 911. Hello, hello, help me out. He doesn't hit me, it's her that's hurt, but she won't say a word. My mother is the most quiet person I know. She whispers. This is about yelling. I've lived in 4 different apartments in my grandma's basement, and every room had walls that swallowed us down. The mantle would shiver and the plaster would shake, and I yelled, and I yelled, and I yelled! She would shrink, and I kept knocking down the house. This is about blame. Mom, it's not your fault that Dad stopped taking us to parks so he could pretend for 7 years with another woman. I've got a 6-year-old half-brother, but he's not half me, not half my real brother, not half my mother. Who is he? He's not your fault. Mom, it's not your fault I lost my virginity at 14 because when I was one of those tweens, I read so many books about guy meets girl, and I just wanted to be girl, and mostly I just wanted to be loved, but I forgot what that looks like in a house where Dad meets Mom, and Dad sets up cages and mines and traps all over the house. He set you in vines, he set you in bruises, he set you without love. I figured there must be other ways to get what I wanted than to see you get slapped every time you spoke your mind. I tried to be there every time, but time grew old, and home wasn't just cages. Home was grenades and bombs away for ages. Home was not. I'm so sorry I left every weekend last year. I don't know what he did to you. It's not your fault. Mom, I don't hate you. How do you tell a mother you ain't her, that you don't want to be her, her messy house, her jagged dreams, like her jagged teeth never wanted hard enough? How do you look a mother in the eyes? You never wanted your life to be your own. Mom, it's your fault! Mom, I hate you! I hate you. How do I topple the kings, round tables, round secrets, round little old me? I'm 5 foot nothing, I've got a one and so sharp. I've built legions of looking glass trying to look into what they had and what you had not. Mom, I hate you! You never wanted your life to be your own. You gave it all to us. So I've learned how to be selfish. I would never give you up. This is about more than dads, more than money problems. Nobody has a dad and everybody has money problems. This is about my mother. When I was little, she let us put frosting and sprinkles on ice cream sandwiches as if they weren't sweet enough already. I wasn't a fat kid, but I should have been. Fat with love. Fat with rent, whatever movie you want, we'll watch it together. It doesn't matter our TV size or the carpet coming up. It was cold, but we had blankets, we had you, Mom. We were fat with library fines, but always finding money so I could keep up with my mind. Fat with sticks and rock collections, kiddie pools and caramel apples. I swear to God, I went on so many adventures when I was a kid, but I never even left my house. My mom built us a jet plane so we could take off our troubles or our clothes when they were too tight. We were always fat. With your body is beautiful. Fat with your mind is precious. Fat with I love you most in this world. Mom, I don't hate you. This poem took me 4 months to write because it hurt so much that I hurt you when you only ever tried to make it better. Thank you.
Do we have scores?
We do. We have We're going to start with an 8.2. And then we're going to jump to a 9.5. And a 9.6.
Yeah.
And a 9.9.
All right. And a 10. Let's keep the applause going for the poet from Shawnee Mission South. Raytown, you are on deck.
Creaky doors, voices in the dark, footsteps on floors marked by mold creeping through to the shadowed basement. Werewolves, vampires, a capitalist society. It's a scary story, right? This isn't a once upon a time, but real evil caused by government officials who pretend to be beneficial, but really they're just greedy and hostile and kind of like villains in a Charles Dickens novel. People are on food stamps, but still working 10-hour shifts every day. The cramps in their feet so sharp like a railroad spike, and their souls burning olive flambe like Dresden because of the Third Reich. Money over people, riches that can't be tamed. Our attempts to raise a minimum wage for people that slave over greasy fryers all day to feed their 3 children is just met with a man who sits behind his corporate desk and says with selfish greed and a smirk, it will result in layoffs and inflation for businesses hiring a teenage fry cook or a 50-year-old clerk. So you're saying that capitalism doesn't really work? We're told to feel blessed, but there's a stake stabbed in my chest that's yet to be addressed because it was once the stake I had in our future. I have a right to be upset because all of our congressmen are tiptoeing around the subject, but can someone please just suture this wound because I'm bleeding dead? And I drive in further every time I put my hand to my heart and chant my devotion as I stand and start to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, rinse and repeat, but I feel like a slave since my hopes and my dreams are nestled in a grave, dug by the words they've said to convince me that they ever had seams, but they're now falling apart into blue, white, and red. I want to go to college. It's not too much to ask to gain that knowledge, but the $50,000 of debt in which I'll be is too much of a haulage for me. See, why can't we be modeled after the Netherlands or Germany where it's free? It's working for them, so let's do it that way. At least lower the rates to a reasonable degree. Investing in the country's future is the way to make it, not a use of students as profit centers and using the poor as a poor excuse. Home of the brave, more like home base for those 1% sad sack save for us other 99. We're bleeding our hearts out. We're bleeding money from the arts now. We do have our perks, but also hundreds of Sam Brown backs. Without this divide that's unmended with lies and deceit, it's no shock that this gridlock between two forces cannot be beat. The only minority destroying America, that's the rich. They are only a hindrance, using the word traditional as a cover for traditionally corrupt and bigoted values. I feel like I'm being smothered by the Koch brothers. But you know what? I am not going to censor myself to comfort their ignorance. That stake is still there and it's deep in my heart. It's here for me to keep, but I can't tell who did it because I can't tell all these old white men apart.
What about the score?
We're going to start with an 8.1. And a 9.0.
All right.
And a 9.4. And a 9.7. And a 9.9.
All right. Woo! Tough judges in the building. Let's keep the applause going, right? Let's get it up. Let's get our hands up for the poet from Raytown.
Red, white, and blue. A republic that tilts the scales of justice. This land has never been what God intended. This land is indivisible, yet full of division. The thing about liberty and justice, you only get her if your great-great-grandfather never had to dream of North Stars leading him to freedom. My great-grandmother witnessed the Emmett Tills of this nation hanging from tree branches like strange fruits, skin too dark for acceptance. Today, CNN and Fox allow me to witness the media's takes on the black men's struggle. Faces and bodies brighten from red and blue lights. Blue and black uniforms replaced white hoods, badges decide fates. 50 white stars will never amount to the number of black mothers who pray to dark blue skies at night, hoping their babies are their guardian angels. We pledge our freedom to threads filled with lies about purity, innocence, perseverance, and justice. Each red thread is blood bleeding into sidewalks that old Jim Crow didn't allow us to pass. And I am suffocating under these threads. I can't breathe because your Star-Spangled Banner, in order to form a more perfect union, refuses to establish justice because the man with the badge does what we do to each other. I can't breathe because I'm suffocated by a mother's tears as she cries over her son's casket, asking why my baby. I can't breathe under the distorted sound of judges' gavels. I can't breathe. My mother no longer worries about if I make it home before the streetlights come on. Just cooperate, announce your every move, keep your hands visible, watch your tone of voice. She just wants me to make it home. I've probably upset you by now, but I will be seen. You're finally forced to face society's silences, but I will be heard. I know you're uncomfortable and scared, so am I, but I will continue to walk on this street instead of that sidewalk. Don't shoot! I know you can't breathe by the brutality of my honesty, but now I can. Don't shoot. I know you're offended, but your excuse of self-defense will never take away 50 shots, 8 shots, 2 shots, 1 shot. Stop shooting. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice to a country that denied life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to people of my ilk. Stop shooting. Because the colors red, white, and blue forgot me here. Black.
Wow. All right, we just finished our first round. How's everybody doing? We're off to a good start. Do we have scores?
We have scores. We're going to start with an 8.9 and an 8.9 and an 8.9 and then a 9.7 and a 9.8.
Woo! All right. Man, oh man. All right. We're going to keep this party going, right? We got to keep pushing ahead. We're going to start off with the team, or the poet rather, from Lawrence Free State, Shawnee Mission South. You are on deck. Please give it up for the poet from Lawrence Free State.
Thank you so much for coming to support these poets tonight. I'm Mariah Houston. I'm representing Lawrence Free State!
We love you, poet.
Never stop loving you, poet.
Heaven, when I was 8, was Mr. Gaddy's, the southeastern buffet chain / arcade. Okra, pizza, brownies, I had never felt more blessed. Heaven was just an empty word to me. You see, when I was young, I fell asleep muttering other people's prayers. Felt my lips curl around the foreign words, not knowing what I was promising, to whom I was speaking, if I even believed in him. I shrugged religion on like a jacket and pretended it fit. So with age came confusion, doubt, skepticism. My beliefs decayed, wrinkled like old skin. I grew a new layer, a new ring within my trunk. And although my dad kissed prayers into my forehead, gifted me a Bible, and dragged me to service every once in a while, I was not raised a slave to any religion but my own. I chose who I looked up to. I wrote a holy book for myself, brimming with poetry, leaking elegies. My new heaven had not yet been composed. not occupied by any omnipotent force I didn't know of any. I didn't want to. I was my own.
Got it.
Our streets were littered by Westboro Baptists. They grasped their signs as if they were the answers. God hates God hates Jews. God hates America. They threatened non-believers with hell. And I looked around and thought, we are already there. Show me people who speak respectfully of their credence with the unknown. Show me people who understand that skipping the under God and my pledge of allegiance doesn't mean I don't have faith in anything. Do not try to fix me. I didn't ask for your triage. Do not obsess over our differences, poking, prodding at them until they are raw, puffy, swollen. Do not tell me my mindset is invalid because it is not based on something you believe. I believe in hiking mountains and not turning back until you reach the top. I believe in raising a child like a journal, penciling your thoughts throughout the hemispheres of their brain, but allowing them to hold the eraser. I believe in open minds, because if you don't forgive the people who try to force their opinions on you, then you are no better. I have faith. I have faith. Faith is not wearing a 10-carat cross around my neck, not zoning out during a hymn, pretending I agree with the lyrics, not staring at the girl who lost her virginity, because who am I to tell her that making love is not holy? Holy is not defined. Holy is not bound between the pages of a dictionary. Holy is seen in the first snow of the season, and the second and the third. Holy is tasted in pink lemonade vodka, stinging, laughing, breathing. Holy is found between fingers, holding hands until they don't feel fragile anymore. My church is Lawrence, Kansas, and I kiss the streets as if they are my Bible. Faith is knowing I can be thankful without thanking someone. Knowing I will help others because I want to. I am older now. And heaven means more than a restaurant. Heaven is poetry. Heaven is skin, eyes, tongue. Heaven is voice. Voice used, voice heard, voice connecting. Heaven is letting go of the signs. Letting go of the differences.
Do we have scores yet?
We do. We have an 8.6, an 8.8, a 9.3,
Right.
a 9.3, and a 9.5.
Wow. All right. All right. So, let's hear it for the poet from Shawnee Mission South, Raytown. You are on deck.
My name is Rolla Ellsmore, and I'm from Shawnee Mission South. I grew up in an Islamic household where following the rules of religion was supposedly the most important thing you could do. But in the 18 years I've been alive, I've never once prayed, and you've never cared. And I've been to the mosque, our place of worship, about twice in my entire life, and it hasn't seemed to bother you. But I was 6 years old when I was told I wasn't supposed to show my skin, because if I did, the boys would look at me. As if the only reason they ever would be based solely on how I looked. You taught me that my value was compiled based on how others perceived me, and that who I was needed to be hidden underneath sweatshirts and headscarves. I was told to cover my body and my hair. For 5 years I played soccer covered, body and all. You told me when you're covered, God doesn't let you feel heat. But if that were the case, God was not doing his job right. You told me I had to cover because it would somehow keep me from the sins of sex. But you never told me why my brother didn't have to cover. To you, sex was the worst sin there was. You tried to lead me to believe that because I was a girl, my worth was found somewhere between my thighs, implied I was nothing more than my physicalities. Girls should stay at home, you tell me. Girls shouldn't be friends with boys, you tell me. Girls need to stay pure, you tell me. To so many of your requests, I blindly obliged. But at the same time, I lost sight of myself. As I grew up, I was yelled at so much I became numb to it. Girls don't need to play soccer, you tell me. So I no longer did. I witnessed an unbearable amount of fighting between my parents. My mom threatening to leave, threatening to kill herself as she put the blade to her neck. Every mistake I made, my ears pierced by your words. How the hell are you so stupid? And the sounds of things breaking around me, it was louder than a bomb. I was 13 years old when I started dealing with depression. When I thought for the first time that maybe covering my skin would come in handy, in case I found myself needing to hide crisscross scars. I felt as if I was behind bars and I couldn't escape. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see myself, but a barely walking, barely talking drone, shaped to be the daughter you wanted me to be. I had trouble sleeping for as long as I can remember, both crying and thinking myself to sleep. My body was there, but my heart was buried in a casket. For so long, I kept the negative feelings in the dark abyss that was my own mind. I was 16 years old when I started to see light again, when happiness was starting to be mine again. I started to regain sight of myself. I told you I would no longer stay covered because my body is not a cage and I was done being a coward. I knew what you'd think of me and I told myself I wouldn't let it faze me, but still my entire body burned. When you called me a slut and your cruel words lingered on for longer than smoke on clothes. You tried to convince me to follow the rules to please some God that I no longer believed in, and outer representation of inner faith means nothing if I don't believe in anything. I was 18 years old when you started to realize that I can make my own choices. I never cared what others thought of me, only what I thought of me, and the mirror was never really a curse, only my mind was. I was driven insane in an attempt to be the person you wanted me to be, but even now as I have figured out who I am, sometimes it's still hard to find the me that loves me. Because I still have crisscross scars, emotional scars, not ones you can see, but ones that will forever be a part of me. Thank you.
Sorry, scores.
I'm gonna bail you out. We've got an 8.7. An 8.7. An 8.7. A 9.2. And a 9.5.
All right. You just gotta keep forging ahead. Put your hands together, like really loudly, really strongly for the poet from Raytown, Paseo. You are on deck.
You're my best friend, Tinkerbell, so I guess that makes me Peter Pan. Even though I'm the one with blonde hair and yours is red, I'm the one who vowed to never grow up. Besides, you're the strong female lead, stronger than me because Freud would be shocked at your lack of penis envy, and God knows I have it because not having one is the only thing keeping me from getting a job at Disney World. We can go for a swim. But only if you promise not to get your wings wet and to stay away from the mermaids because they only want to drag you down. I know you've been sad before. Like when Hook stuck you in a cage and hung you over stormy seas, but sometimes it's my fault. Because I make you worry with my stupid tricks and chasing down pirates and trying to catch my own Wendy, but I can carry you on my back to Pixie Hollow chanting the whole way that I believe in you because everyone knows Peter Pan dies if not enough people believe in fairies. You're my best friend, Tinkerbell, because even when I said to die would be an awfully big adventure, you told me to stop. Look at the second star to the right and imagine flying on till morning. By the time the sun rose, I was once again smiling and handing out thimbles to every Wendy that came my way, while you stood by red-faced and screaming, but all I hear are jingle bells. I'm sorry, Tink. I guess sometimes this big brain of mine just doesn't really think. I'm glad you found me when you did. Alone in the woods with no lost boys to be found. You filled my head with pixie dust and told me I could fly. And when I did, I forgot to say thank you, so you told me I needed better table manners. I'm a lost boy, Tinkerbell. I have no use for setting the table or ballroom dancing, but I'll do them for you. For your faith. For your trust. And for a little bit of pixie dust.
scores yet? All right.
We do. We have an 8.1. An 8.5. An 8.7. An 8.8. And a 9.
All right. So, we gotta keep it going. Please give it up for the poet from Paseo.
Do you wanna play house? Scene 1. She welcomes me into the bed. She touches, ouch, sliding slimy fingers up thighs crafted out of Barbies and Dr. Seuss rhymes. She didn't know any better. Cut. This is the scene where I go animate into my head. We're playing dolls in my head. She's teaching me how to tie my shoes in my head. This is the part where I do what statistics say all victims do. Repress, find your safe place until it's over, until their body erupts and you're nothing but dead weight in air. Do you wanna play house? Scene 2. She tells me I'm the dad for this stage act. She is the mom and it's time for bed. She kisses. Ew, sissy, I don't like this game, sissy. I feel unclean, sissy. I wanna scratch this skin saturated in her sweat off. I want the memories to stop trying to claw its way out of my unconsciousness. I just wanna remember your smile, not your fingers, not my starry pink nightgown, not you trying to find relief under my clothes. Cut, repress, find your safe place. Cut as if there's any solitude in the pandemonium of my mind. Cut, sissy, why did you let the boys touch me? Drop boulders down my canal of youth. I was too young to know how low a head can bow. Sissy, his lap is not an altar. Sissy, he is not an altar. His lap is not a crucifix. Don't let him hang my innocence here. She would auction me off to her friends, letting my flattened chest become playgrounds for slide-eyed Lucifers, deflowering by the hands of Satan. Sissy, because of you, they would call this poem cliche. Call it the please stop poem, the she never said no poem, the stay still slut. I'm a poem. My mother would tell me not to air my dirty laundry on the stage. Wrap my blood-stained panties around the mic, oh mother. Excuse the provocative nature, but I've been coughing up the shedded skin of boys who sissy let find your definition of man in my pants for too long. This is not another rape poem, another pin you down and take poem. This is the poem where the good girls go to die, the absence of caskets. This is me leaving my biggest secret on the stage. Do you want to play house? Scene 3. She didn't know any better. They never know any better, do they? This is ignorance disguised as forgiveness. And for you, sissy, ignorance is bliss. So the next time I see you, you'll probably kiss my cheek and tell me you miss me. And I'll try not to cringe when your lips drop seeds of familiar. It's pathetic that I still wait for an apology from you. But denial is one hell of a drug. I snort it too. So when they ask me about this poem, I'm still going to lie. I want a better story. Who wouldn't?
Do we have scores yet? All right, let's hear it.
We're going to start with a 9.4.
All right.
And then a 9.9.
All right.
And then a 10.
Yeah. All right. round. We're moving into round 3 now. Is everybody good? Judges, it's all about the love. It's love. It ain't nothing but love, babe. All right. All right. So we're going into round 3. We're going to start off with the poet from Shawnee Mission South. Raytown, you are on deck. Let's give it up, give it up, give it up.
Hi everyone. Come on and slam and welcome to the slam. I thought it would be time for a Space Jam reference. My piece is titled The Artist. I never thought of myself as an artist or a poet until you said that I was one. Until your lips moved in time to the rhythm of my rhymes and you narrowed your eyes because you couldn't comprehend the language. But your lips curved as you stole my words and you told me. You were just speaking modestly, lauding me that your emotional insolvency could never spawn a proper poem, probably. Poetry has been and always will be meant for prodigies, but you see, I found meaning in our mindless choreography. I found poems we strung together in hollow words balanced between two tongues, grasping for phrases and melodation, like oxygen, because there are 1,000 glittering generalizations that I could gather from the hundreds of times we've corresponded that could describe the dozens of emotions that jam themselves into my psyche like pinpricks. And yet I've found no words, and no poems have been written about us. No staggering works of art or feats of nature or glorious landmarks that I can create on the map I'd create to write my way back to you, pen in my left hand and heart in my right. But alas, such compositions will never be composed. As you can see, I'm just another teenage poet choking on the complexities of run-on sentences. So, maybe I can't write you verses of poetry without the lines tangling and catching in my throat like dueling fishing rods, and I can't capture into words the mess you made of me, the same way that I can hardly manage to capture your gaze. So, if poetry is impossible, I'll write you fragments instead. Take words off paper, carve my verses into coffee tables, sing hymns, false hope in the bark of dead maples, but sentence fragments can't stand on their own, and neither can we, spinning separate yarns on the same spindle until our alliteration sounds illiterate, second-guessing whether our stories are accurately reflecting our reasoning for why our ardor hasn't yet reached reality, and now we're back to poems. I'm hoping I'll create you one that'll turn heads the way 2 quotation marks create a turn of phrase. I'll write one about you. About how poetry died with chivalry and now they're just 2 ideas buried in a casket 6 feet beneath our egos. And how asking myself to describe you in words and intransitive verbs sounds a lot like describing the star-crossed flight pattern of transient birds, writing absurd stories in our own words of us 2 intransigent nerds. Again and again and again, I tell myself, yeah, we're 2 5s, but we'll always make 10. What's Cupid's arrow to the power of the ballpoint pen? But honestly, I'm scared. I'm scared that these words aren't my own, that I'm just printing these verses to paper so I'm never alone. Because when I'm trapped in my head, my emotions don't make sense, and when I put them to paper, they make even less. I can place bets on when you give up and realize that you'll never be impressed because, while I'm at the heart of things, I realize you're just a boy who couldn't care less. And you couldn't possibly comprehend the language. But I'm an artist, and I wrote you a poem. Isn't that sad?
Okay, so judges, not judges, Jess, do we have scores?
Yeah, we have an 8.6. And an 8.9. And a 9.2. And a 9.3. And a 10.
All right. I think it's getting a little bit better. Let's keep the applause going for the poet from Raytown. Paseo, you're on deck.
Thank you. Thank you for running away from me before I was old enough to run. Before I ever realized the reasons to run from you. Though you misguided my needs for your wants, I still loved you. I'll adopt you, they said, because we value you. They said, I say they forgot to mention they valued my value. Not my freedom. I must have been dumb to think I was free. Freedom, the right to finally tell. So I have a right to question why I had a father who was convinced it was normal to inflict beatings onto his 5-year-old daughter, leaving her body battered and her mind bruised, and slowly killing me by his smirk and the words that followed. I was playing. For a mother who became so distraught she'd been diagnosed, I didn't know she'd lay in the same dark corner of our house, her hell day after day, without knowing the real reasoning other than daddy's. She's lazy. I'd ask myself why I would never have biological parents past the age of 5, and I would never be daddy's princess. To this day, I'm still distressed when I recall previous foster parents' question, should we adopt such a mess? To them, my worth was the money that came along with this adoption package. They did not value me. Because once they met the true me, they switched sides like the eggs I made them in the AM, because internally I was begging for the attention they gave their kids. Their kids. I wasn't one of their kids. I was a kid there in a house that housed me with the family that never had me. Now, as I pin up a new season, another month flipped to next, the permanent black residue from each ex upon each previous date stained my fingers and my ambition, so I'm hypnotized that a compilation of exes will mark the day. The day to my 18th year, the hour, the second to real freedom. No longer subject to bare faces my heart will not recognize. A house, permitted home, and parents authorized by the signing of a false commitment. Thank you, Mom, for birthing a statistic, for giving me a purpose to recognize real love, and for getting what was lost. Thank you.
What about scores, Jess? Do we have them yet?
We have an 8.5, an 8.6, a 9.3, a 9.7, and a 10.
All right. So put your hands together. Keep the applause going, I should say, for the poet from Paseo, Lawrence Free State. You are on deck.
Speaking through hand gestures, inquiring about her day. Back then I could get a hey with a smile and a hug that said see you later, but then I remember taking baths with my boy cousins and how grandma said it was all right because we were family. I was always the curious George in my pack and could never seem to understand where my privates began and theirs ended while we were so different. Grandma branded whips on my back in hopes of punishing me for being touchy, but it was always okay for me and my girl cousins to bathe together, as long as we scrubbed away the grime of seeing each other's naked forms, cleansing the march, only seen by infrared light through third eyes. Mommy said it was okay for doors to be closed as we changed together in front of each other, sleeping in the same damn beds, but I was taught to always be modest and dressing up my face and body because if a boy looked, I'd be asking for it. And it was always okay when I came home with boys' names whispered on my lips in the form of hearts. I was always led to believe that kissing got you pregnant. Mommy was always adding and making sure I was completely turned off by the idea of babies because these dudes will get you caught up. I found love in the endless curve of Jane Doe. When playing with dolls turned from Barbie and Ken to Barbie and Kelly, I had to make ends meet and Ken wasn't cutting it. I was found in a compromising position with them. So mommy drenched me in L'Oreal and CoverGirl, dressed me up in short skirts and high heels, deeming me attracted to the opposite sex. And after 16 years of stripping away the girl you wished me to be as if I was some mannequin, I came out the closet wearing basketball shorts and a tank top, wearing gay as you see me. And I will be, and I will always love you for you regardless of your sexual preferences, though you are too damn pretty to be gay. Forget it. Mommy doesn't get dressed in front of me anymore. In fright of my third eye seeing her true colors, is this making you uncomfortable? Do you not realize that I was in a closet with reality fumes sneaking under the door, suffocating me, making me uncomfortable, making me hate this skin, and making me uncomfortable? Is this making you uncomfortable that I will out the smudged acidic eyeliner that caused endless pits in my face, of faking broken hearts from his when it was really a her? I can finally see you. I can finally see you. Do you see me? Now that I'm not wearing the wanted sexuality like a scar so it chokes me, I can finally exhale. I can finally yell out, I'm gay. Nice to meet you. There will be no more closets. I will never be locked away again to spread from out of myself. And I will tell anybody who asks how I am in love and how our love is not extraterrestrial. And for those that feel uncomfortable around me, you are in my shoes. How does it feel? I say hello to my friend across from me, speaking through hand gestures and waves, and now says goodbye. And all I could get was a hi in the back of her as she walked away from me.
All right. As we are ending the third round, I just want to play devil's advocate for a second. And while we do de-emphasize the competition aspect of it, you know, these are the finals, so the stakes are a little bit higher. I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. My name is Glenn North, by the way. I'm a poet. And I've been coaching Kansas City's Youth Poetry Slam team that competes at Brave New Voices for the past 7 years. For those of you who are not familiar with Brave New Voices, it's an international youth poetry festival that really is amazing. You have teams coming from New York, teams coming from Chicago, teams coming from Philadelphia, teams coming from England, teams coming from India, and they come hard. I'm serious. So, and it's the same vibe at Brave New Voices in that the competition is not the main point, but I promise you, these kids are extremely talented, right? So the stakes are high in that regard. So I just wanted to offer that as an aside as we're going through this process and dealing with these very difficult judges. All right. All right. All right. Do we have scores yet? Okay, no mic, the mic went out, okay. I was wondering what happened. Is it an emergency? Did somebody have a heart attack? Okay.
All right, we have an 8.7, and a 9.1, a 9.5, a 9.7, and a 9.9.
All right. Let's keep it going for the poet from Lawrence Free State.
My name is Kyrie. I'm from Lawrence Free State. This poem's called. What's up, Grandma? How's your day? It was good, baby. How was yours? Mine was good. Hold up, I got a phone call. It's good. Hang up the phone, Kyrie. Wow, Hey, all right, man. Says my grandmother. Right before she gives me a 5-hour, 47-minute, 27-second speech about why I shouldn't say that. And for the first time, what this woman said made sense. First time it made sense. But anyways, Grandma, I'm a real. I mean, that's what Lil Wayne told me. It's like my parents, I smoke weed just like Lil Wayne showed me. So I'm a real because I sit lean until I can't stand because these rappers nowadays make it seem like that's what it takes to be a young black man. So I'm a real. I call myself the same word my ancestors died being called. I was taught to beat up a white boy if he said it, so why do I still call myself? I call myself the same word the person that assassinated MLK called us. Ain't it crazy that we call ourselves the same word that tore our race down but now was used to lift each other up? It's all good. Real bounce back, no. Real slave that came off the boat. Separated from that family, so this property the people that call us. Isn't it ironic that Kunta Kinte refused to be called Toby, was beaten by a person he was nothing but to by a weapon we now call a dance the whip, I'm saying. We came from slave ships to scholarships, and yet still lack the knowledge to stop calling each other. See, I don't know about y'all, but a real man wears a tie while real tie down our race to the floor of the stereotype as a real man provides for his family by going to work, while real men provide his own race with weed, pills, and crack so authorities can crack down on us and lock real up. A real man says no. See, gangster, it's the same word, one ends with an A with ER, so why are not okay, but a name that can explain who we are? No. See, I am a real man and will not be labeled as a real man, and I will help you real become real men. See, I am a real man. I will get a real job, make real money, get a real house, get real family. While you real, realer man of me. Kyrie is a real man. Thank you.
Hey, cool. I think we have scores too.
We do. We have an 8.7.
What?
An 8.8. And then we're going to jump way up to a 9.9. And a 10. And a 10.
I will say this, they have been consistent. It has been consistent. No one can argue that. All right. So yeah, I don't know if I made it clear, but the team that wins tonight will go to Brave New Voices in Atlanta this summer. I don't know if I clearly communicated that when I was talking earlier. And yes, I was trying to say that the competition level there is ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy. Not trying to scare anybody, but it really is some very talented young people from all over the world that attend that festival. All right, so we are going into round 4. Everybody still good? All right. So we're gonna start off with the team from Raytown. Teseo, you are on deck.
You were born in the South Bronx, conceived in the 1970 peace treaty between the blacks and Puerto Ricans. Your brothers, any neighborhood DJ with the right breaks, your father's the Sugar Hill Gang. They named you hip hop. Holy, integrated people having omnipresent power, a revolutionary sound that changed music forever. You uplifted the black community and eventually shifted pop culture. You were first dressed in British walkers, Lee dungarees, Kango hats, and sheepskin coats. The breaks made Curtis blow, and Grandmaster Flash gave you social consciousness with a message. Don't push me, 'cause I'm close to the edge. You were mixed with some salt and some pepper. You got a dash of MC Light. But then you moved west, got it popping with Hammer. You picked up some with attitude and you befriend a Black Panther son. You tore a country in half, losing two of the best MCs to ever touch a mic, and soon after changed my life. H to the Izzo, B to the Izzy is the first song I remember falling madly in love with. The boom bap beats translated from my ears to my heart, and that became my heartbeat. By this time, your lyrics had lifted the lame lies that color mattered. You were about unity. But then they locked your substance up in chains, mocking you, asking, do your chain hang low? Wobble to the flow. I almost lost you when they made you wear do-rags and oversized jerseys, but somehow you fell through like coins in the couch of leather seats on an Impala on gold D's, found your way into some sagging pants, but hip-hop, you're cursed. They have marginalized you, made you mainstream, more about album sales and radio play, and what they don't understand is that you're coming back. You're getting in touch with your people. Getting back in tune with your sound. Right. And you're coming to save the world as you did once before.
Do we have scores yet, Jess?
We're gonna start with an 8.4. And then a 9.2.
All right.
And a 9.3.
All right.
And a 9.6. And a 9.9.
All right. Let's keep the applause going for the poet from, hold on. The poet from Paseo. I went brain dead. I'm sorry. Give it up, give it up.
Before I start, I would like to say, I love y'all. This is a poem from the heart. Look at you. Still searching for love in the canvas of the crowds, crowded into audiences that audit your audio, whose snapback responses in Morse code as you prints like poet, with your head held high as judges juggle around numbers, nibbling at 9s and 10s, but truthfully, you know how much a decimal can decay. You've seen points change destinies, drive people into pits filled with self-devouring thoughts that discourage you as you straddle the fence between truth and lies. Look at you, hoping these points will fill voids left behind by mothers and fathers who left behind a child they never meant to conceive, a child whose origin story was the result of 90s music and cheap liquor. You was an accident. Your savior, a broken condom. Drugs and liquor, your God. They never meant to have you. They didn't love you, and neither do the judges and crowds, regardless the amounts of points they give and the cheers they apply. They don't even know you. They never ask about the points. They never ask why your family never comes about. The points never will know about the foster homes. Neither did they notice the wings of Icarus you are on stage and hope to escape the deep, dark depths of depression. And neither did they notice the fire that engulfed your wings when you flew too close to the sun, because you were somebody's son and you were alone. So you thought that you and the sun could relate, but see, you couldn't seem to match the signs. See, the sun had somebody to call his world already. and you didn't. So no matter how much time you put into each poem, no matter how much thought you put into each rhyme, you're still that boy, stuck, sitting, stationed. You're still that boy, hiding behind the problems of the world so you won't have to deal with your own. You still that boy who has spoken at more funerals than weddings, who stands at the altar, apologizing for friends found dead on corners of avenues whose deaths weren't trendy enough to make hashtags. You're still that boy who has spoken at more funerals than weddings, who stands at the altar apologizing that this poem was ever written in the first place. I'm sorry, Mrs. Dorsey. I'm no coroner. I'm a poet. I never meant for your son to become a metaphor. You're still that boy, hiding behind the problems of the world so you won't have to deal with your own. You're still that boy. Look at you. Stuck, stationed, playing superhero, afraid to grow up, sitting, staring like, what's the point? Where's your points when your heart beats racing, radically ravishing your thoughts that dangle on stage? Will the points ever love you? Will the points love you after you turn your troubles into tales tainted in tie-dye, glorifying, terrifying truths, told in rhythm to amuse and hope to cope with the absence of care, carelessly opening up me, your heart, to them? Will the points ever love you? We have an 8.9. Will they scream, listen to the poem? We have an 8.9. Will they scream, listen to the poem? We have a 9, and a 9. Will the points ever love you? I thought it wasn't about the points.
So, do we have scores yet? All right.
We have a 9.
All right.
And a 9.5.
All right.
And a 9.7.
All right.
And a 10.
All right.
And a 10.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Let's keep the applause going for the poet from Lawrence Free State.
This is my favorite place to be. This is 180. I grew up puffy. Fluffy, stuffy, chubby. They said, look at baby and her round pink stomach. She was so sweet. And fat babies are the cutest after all, with rosy apple cheeks and sausage legs. Mama always said she could just eat me up. But the sweetness wears off. When you hit school, you find bitter boys and green bean girls. The taste buds of children are not unbiased. Little boys like little girls with big eyes and not big stomachs. I wore sweatpants for years because I was afraid of denim and brass buttons. I hated the way they dug and scratched at the underside of my sweet bun tummy. I was so young. I was too young to understand, too young to grasp the concept of straight lines and curves, of rounded edges and sharp edges, of fat and of skinny. Oh God, I was so young and I already knew bitter boys and green bean girls. When I was younger, I waited until the day that I grew boobs. As all girls do, we wait impatiently for them and then they come in. But you see, I had a different reason. You see, when I looked down, I couldn't quite spot my knees because my pumpkin stomach was in the way. So I'd hold on to what I didn't have, and eventually it grew into something that I had too much of. And now bitter boys like girls with sharp edges, slender thighs, flat as a board, and yes, she is incredibly beautiful. But tell me why. Why aren't my rounded edges beautiful to you anymore? I got a little bit older and outside forces would try and change me. Stop eating, they said. It helps you, they said. You can make yourself throw up, they said. But I guess I wasn't born in a body to destroy it. So every time I tried to skip a meal, I couldn't. So I just got so hungry. And every time I tried to shove my fingers down my throat and ruin my supper, I stopped. I heard that erodes more than just your teeth. No, I couldn't ruin my body like that. You see, Mama taught me better than that. Mama taught me better than that. You see, Mama never wore much clothes around the house. So I learned that a woman is beautiful and natural no matter what her pant size, because at the end of the day, no one is looking at the number on the back of your tag. They're looking at the way the clothing hits you in all the right spots. They're looking at the way the color matches your eyes. They're looking at the way that you look perfect. You are not a number on a
foot 3 inches, 16 years of age, 180 pounds. You know, if you heat a pot of water to 180 degrees, the pot will boil and the steam will float away. And if you turn the clock back 180 years, the US national debt would be zero for the first and only time. A man would fail to assassinate President Jackson, and Charles Darwin would be searching the world trying to figure out who we are. So I know what you're thinking. 180 is a big number, but I'm a big girl, and in case you weren't aware, muscle weighs more than fat. I am 180 pounds of strength, 180 pounds of great strength, passion. I am 180 pounds of everything I could ever want to be. So ladies, don't you ever let bitter boys stop you. Whether your edges are rounded or curved, whether your lines are straight or narrow, whether your stomach is a sweet bun or a green bean. Just love yourself. In the end, you're the only you got. And that's 180 pounds of reality.
All right, do we have scores yet?
Yeah, we're going to start with an 8.9.
All right.
And a 9.3. And a 9.3.
All right.
And a 9.6.
All right.
And a 10.
All right, very good. Keep the applause going for the poet from Shawnee Mission South.
Allow me to share my story as you close your eyes and visualize the lies I was exposed to about that someone that meant the most. That meant the most to me. There was 1 victim, 2 suspects, 3 on the scene, 4 clues, 5 questions, 6 gunshot wounds, 1 picture, but endless memories. I was there in the moment, but I wasn't there in my mind, which makes me unheard of. I could count down to 0 witnesses, but I want your embrace was one of energy. Your smile silenced the room, my angel. I see an image of anger turn to an image of anger. Now I'm feeling this picture, a wonderful soul plus a mind so impactful. You are and forever will be irreplaceable. Back to 1, on to 2. 2 devils dancing with a loaded Glock in the living room, living on an evil block, plotting on an innocent soul, I assume in need of a soul cleansing. Kind of like getting baptized on Sunday, ready to take him out on Sunday, you know. The one following that, and evil eye on the Glock, the other one on the clock. He dropped dead as he turned red and his blood shed, and it was over. Now there's 3 bodies in motion, -1 because he is now also motionless. 1 is a rat, 2 is a coward, 3 is a life that was also priceless. Back to 1 for a moment. How did your cold veins react to that fury? Jerk not once, not twice, but all 6 times on all 10 toes. It's 3, felt to none. I would really like some feedback, because you see, you're black and he's black, and I never really understood why we kill souls with the same goals, and I was just wondering what's his better. Caught myself the other day checking out his yearbook, reading every letter, and all I got was memories but no sympathy. Now he's in ashes on 4 leads. Hence 2 unbearable path I won't dare walk, and it just blows my mind how the one who's dead is the one you need here to talk, because they always know the whole story. On 5, he's no longer alive. A picture holds so many memories, but also leaves so many questions like, did you see it coming? How did you feel? What did you say? What did you do? What really happened? Questions are left unanswered, and there's just some things you'll never know, kind of like when people go through things but never let it show, and how you don't want to, but you know you need to let it go. On to 6, more wounded than I'll ever be, and I'm forced to deal with the mental memory. It's scary how memories can be so bittersweet, and not without laughter, and it definitely felt like a dream the morning after. There was 1 victim, 2 suspects, 3 on the scene, 4 clues, 5 questions, 6 gunshot wounds. It's as if someone took the scissors right out of my kitchen drawer and cut you out the picture because you're so not in it anymore, and it's scary to me. It's also scary to me how a picture can take you to so many places in so little time, and allows you to see faces you can no longer see shine because they're rays of smoke that are due to a cold or the crime. 5 to the chest. One to the head, now he's dead, boom, and they lay him to rest. Oh, he was so restless in that living room, you know. The last day I prayed as your body laid and I kissed you soft, real soft on your cheek with cotton lips, and I left my handprints as you lowered in your grave, and that is when I lost it, became mentally exhausted. The sight of you gone made me sick head tone, and I remember hearing you to tell me to stay strong, then they sung your goodbye song, and that was it. Candles lit, the image of you gone in my mind just won't fit now. This image is all I hold, it's what's left of you, and I can put it in my pocket because it'll fold, and I just can't believe it's true, and it's all because there is, well, it was one victim, 2 suspects, 3 on the scene, 4 clues, 5 questions, 6 gunshot wounds.
Hey, thank you guys for letting us come out here. This has been an awesome experience for me and for all of us, so thank you.
I'm Rowan.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Mariah.
My name's Kyrie, and
A thug. I heard he's a new black guy at Free State.
He's from Detroit. He's probably a gangster.
Do you think he could sell me weed? He's just a thug. Tatted up, selling drugs, living on the streets, making eyes at girls he meets. Forget him. He's ghetto. You checked his pockets, but did you check his bag? Though skin of black, teeth of white, all you see is a smile when you turn out the light spinning. Too many fights, doesn't know wrong from right. His big dreams are way out of sight. His face is smug, he walks with a shrug. That new guy, Kyrie, he's just a thug.
I ain't no thug. My name is Kyrie, and I'm
a jock. Yeah, here's the new running back, right?
Yeah, he's stupid and he just throws with a leather ball.
The black kids are always the fastest. Yeah, he's hot for a black guy.
He's just a jock, hard as rock. He has no emotion, yeah, he's all talk. All muscle, all hustle, all getting in trouble. But in school, I bet he struggles. That he struggles. Don't mess with him, don't get in his way, but dang it. But don't mess with him, don't get in his way.
He can throw a football, but hey, how are his grades?
True that. When he's in sports, all he gets is praise, but he never gets an A. Swagger on the field, swagger on his walk. That new guy, Kyrie, he's just a jock.
My name is Kyrie, and I
grew up without a dad. Yeah, I heard he left when he was young.
He'll probably turn out just like him.
He's probably never had a positive figure in his life. Imagine how he treats women.
He grew up without a dad. His life's nothing but bad. Another lonely black boy story. Another he must be so sad. He grew up rough, probably in the hood, probably not doing the things that he should. Probably robbing stores, telling girls that they're whores, always asking for more. He hates getting ignored. His dad left them for the new. He'll probably leave his kids too, leave them wrong, leave them sad. That new guy, Kyrie, he grew up without a dad.
Hey, stop. Check this out, bro. These stereotypes don't define me. I may have lived the hood life, but you damn sure weren't beside me. Every night praying I had that good life, and I don't sell drugs, but I have smoked because the pain of having a dad I don't know hurts. So I learned to take my aggression out on the field instead of taking it out on my peers, because I love hurting people, but I don't love the consequences. But when football season's over, the anger's bubbling inside of me, and boom, it comes out, but not in a bad way. It comes out as jokes, and I go from being a fatherless thug to being a dumb jock when I'm really just somebody that nobody knows. I want to be loved and not tolerated. I want to be noticed and not neglected. I don't want to be judged. I want to be accepted. And
I bet he killed a guy.
I heard he pulled the trigger.
Yeah, that new guy, Kyrie, he's just another niche.
Stop. Every chance I get, I swear I'll blow it. You, and you. You say you accept me for who I am? I swear you don't show it. My name is Kyrie, and I'm a poet.
Before we get started, we just want to say happy birthday, Keyshawn! Warning! As we speak the truth of opinions, you might lose eye contact.
There might be squirming in your seat.
Some faces will turn red. You might go home and tell your mothers. Way back when the American dream was actually achievable, the people believed that big houses, picket fences, and opportunity would obtain once you set foot on this land.
They have pasteurized our history books,
made it safe for your hearing, and kept the truth for themselves,
limiting our vain hopes to an avenue that divides us.
Truce.
Why is it that the unemployment rate is 37% higher on the east side of this street?
Well, that for every 7 people killed on the west, 100 are killed on the east. The truth is, everyone is guilty. Our muted cries cause murder.
Numbering victims of a system that treat the streets on the east like a concrete grave.
A grave where they put our handprints in the day we were born.
Making people believe that the West is a safe haven when bullets don't come with victims.
Media never paints our blood in proportion.
It's 2015 and millions of families are single-parent homes.
Where America's dream since determined boys chasing $5.
Rather than 5 minutes with their children. Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money, dollar bills, y'all. We want to be free.
Free from the American dream that safely contains us in a comfort zone and divides us street by street,
house by house, income by income. Stay in your districts, don't break the faction system, divergence not allowed. We stand to defend the deprived and the disposed.
Denied the right to cross the divide between the stricken and the privileged.
We come to erase the lies that have been broadcast into your mind.
Hoping you understand that we are each colors on the same spectrum, not prisoners of society. So we pledge allegiance. Not to a flag.
But to breaking the chains that withhold us.
Truce. America. Truce.
America.
You are not dead.
You can no longer divide us.
We cannot keep quiet.
Because in the end, timeless rumors of ongoing silence trembles.
Shawnee Mission South, and the poem you're about to hear from our mouths is called Words Hurt.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but
words can never hurt me.
They said I've never attended one funeral where tears weren't shed while words were said to precede the dead. Words hurt.
Probably more than any weapon, words in fact are a weapon. A form of aggression, form of confessions, not of deception can be the main cause of depression. Lack of expression, gathered thoughts, creating a suggestion, causing the ones we don't want to hear to forever receive.
Our biggest form of rejection.
Sticks, stones,
words
thrown.
Words thrown at ourselves in quiet reflection. Priests pounding proclamations from a pulpit steal acceptance from resurrection. A boy sits, folding hands in silent insurrection.
He's in love.
He's in love. But a boy is a boy, and you can't love your own. For the churches of Rome he has to atone. He goes home, crying on the bathroom floor with his soul so sore, looking up to his God, he just can't do it anymore.
Well, see,
Well, let me.
Yes, let me be the first to tell you that words could be so bitter-like when he exposed her in seductive clothes on Twitter, and although they weren't physically said, instead they were read, doesn't take away the fact that all 300 of her followers now assumes
she was in his bed. And this is usually the part where all the girls gossip and spread rumors like tumors, creating humors, trading phrases like advertisers to consumers, and we now live in a society where there are more followers than leaders, less givers and more receivers, more unsuccessful individuals and less achievers. This is the underlying truth of our youth, and we don't need factual statistics. Look around, our eyes are the proof. Words hurt.
Her.
him,
You.
Me.
them,
Us.
See,
not only do words hurt, but they have power. Words have the power to drop bombs and pull triggers, declare guilt or cry innocence, since we are all crying out, in a sense.
No offense, but
I always ask myself why words get the most attention when they're steeped in hatred. Why our children can't hear lullabies over war cries. And we wonder why violence has become so normalized.
No offense, but
isn't a defense against hatred. It's a false pretense, the cruel words being equally as intense.
no offense, but this is where it's going to get a little offensive. Let's get a little intensive on while we struggle with words, debate the difference between nouns and verbs. I'm verbally crying out to you saying,
No offense, but
every time that's said, it burns like a cigarette butt.
sticks.
stones.
Words thrown like a king overthrown, the new prince on the throne. So take control, take command, take back what you own, because since when did someone else's words write your own story or redefine your glory?
And although they never should, words sometimes determine someone's relevance. So continue to present yourself with elegance and never let others' words take you out your element.
Sticks,
stones,
words thrown.
We may be on a path of wrath that words can hash out, but burning things down like a firebomb town reduced to ashes on the sweltering ground allows a chance for rebuilding.
So when words saying you're inferior are thrown like stones at your exterior, making dents, whether it's spoken in German or in a northeastern accent, we are superior, and here we are.
We're still alive.
And words may hurt, but our hearts are still beating, and we can still build a home out of sticks.
and out of stones.
So how do you think the world's gonna end?
Maybe the sun will collapse into itself and expand as Mother Earth takes her last. I look up and notice the priest who raises his hands in the alchemy of chaos, striking the soul of the Jewish man in which he condemns to the fire for his beliefs in the... And the streets are divided into an abyss. The cliffs seem to shudder as Mother Earth stutters. And Anarchy has never been so provocative. I look up
and see kindness linger from the priest as he takes his raised hand and wipes the yoke of misery off the young Muslim's face. As another tower collapses in the wake of this revelation, people scurry for loved ones, gasping in the need of human interaction to witness the affliction of death. But they hold hands using their hope like artillery, jumping over divided land into strangers' arms as they tangle to the debris, making tunes out of relieved screams and footsteps.
Finding solace in one another, people of all races, white, black, Hispanic, doing races to find their children as they dance in the tomb of common constructions, rumbling they leap, as if the other side could guide them to salvation, and maybe the man with his hand out is God. But as he falls into his vast nothingness, his screams reveal his horns. As his horns blare from car crashes countless amounts of blocks away, we never see nothing more beautiful.
Then the sunset engulfing our land as all the burning bushes vanish in the fumes like some magic trick they couldn't fathom.
As all the gods unite into one, their hearts start beating at the same rhythm. They start to see they were never really that different.
Crosses and Hail Marys become I love yous and outstretched arms for hugs. Somewhere,
the holy book disintegrate their just
eye to eye, chest to chest.
as we loiter on the line of oblivion, insanity greets us to the other side, searching for secrets of death as it hides in hives of history. We become worker bees, trying to collect context for our consciousness, shows itself in our ethnicities, stitched and etched in ink into the African dashiki. Missing from the urban boy's belt was only to exist in the showing of his undergarments.
Sexuality becomes indifferent, cast away the social conformities, throwing away their masquerade masks they wore for their public consumption, welcoming their ever-changing perception.
Pointed fingers of blasphemy are now cut off by the panic of now, that state of abundance dwelling in grief and a natural instinct to comfort. We've never seen nothing more beautiful.
As the sun burns away our atmosphere,
The colors of the sky illuminate the street.
nature evolves into dust.
Dust transcends into night.
Nights resurrect from crusades.
Dead slaves will hold hands with dead masters.
Out of forgiveness, the soldiers will drop guns for greetings.
The sun will devour our skin.
And it will turn out that differences actually can coincide, because there lies the secret of diversity. No matter the colors of our skin, the differences in our beliefs, or the purposes in our ties, the sun will finally reveal.
We're all the same on the inside.
Inside of me, business and opportunities will obtain once you set foot on this. As the sun is only 2